Good afternoon, Anuj and everyone. Hello, everyone. Am I audible and the screen visible?
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much. So let's begin with today's live interaction session. So welcome everyone to the NPTEL course on novel technologies for food processing and shelf life extension. And the course instructor of this course is Professor H.N. Mishra from the Department of Agriculture and Food Engineering, IIT Kharagpur, and I am Shikha Sharma, a research scholar in the Department of Chemical Engineering, IIT Guwahati. So, this is a live interaction session for week 11, which includes these topics: food fortification, then iron fortified rice, next is Nutri dal and fortified noodles, and high energy RTE, which is ready to eat food pastes. So we will be discussing all about all these topics in our today's interaction session. This topic is having one lecture video for this also, and this third one also, but the fourth one is having two lecture videos, part 1 and part 2. So I hope you have already gone through those five lecture videos. So in this live interaction session, we will be practicing the concepts, and uh, n- we will mainly be discussing today the concepts. There are, I think, no numerical in the today's discussion. So this topic includes more of the concept-based questions. So let's start with our today's session. And if you have any doubt regarding these five topics, and if you and the problems which we are solving today, you please ask at the moment. So this is our last second lecture interaction session, and next Sunday we will be having our week 12, which is the last interaction session for week which will be helpful for your last assignment also. So let's discuss with today's first problem, which is about match the fortification programs, which is in column 1, mass fortification, targeted fortification, market driven fortification. These are the fortification programs. And in column 2, we have those examples in which the fortification has been done: fortified breakfast cereals, salt iodization, and vitamin enriched vanaspati. So we need to match which fortification program is for which type, which example like of fortified food products.
Option D.
Option B. So anyone
D, ma'am.
else?
D. D.
Oh,
D.
sorry. D. Okay. So we got one answer as option D. Anyone else?
Option C, ma'am.
Option C. So we got two answers, option C and D. Anyone else which is having different answer? Let's see. Option A is correct. So A, which is mass fortification, it is basically the addition of one or more micronutrients to staple foods consumed by population that has an unacceptable public health risk of being deficient in this micronutrients. So if micronutrients is less, so in a complete population, so we there are the mass fortification programs being run. For example, fortification of flour with iron and folic acid and salt iodization. So we can see in Indian population we have the iron deficiency problem, which leads to the problem of anemia and like in the Tata salt, it has been uh, mandatory said by government to add iodine, so to make iodized salt, right? Just because in the previous population there is a problem of swelling of the throat, which is throat. So in that it happens because of the deficiency of the iodine. The disease name is goiter. So the government runs such programs. So option A is related to 2, which is salt iodization. This one. And targeted fortification, it basically refers to fortified foods that are designed and targeted at specific population group such as infants and young children, sports persons, etc. So fortified with micronutrients for which the targeted population is at risk of deficiency, like iron deficiency. For because of this anemia happens, right? And vitamin A deficiency, night blindness. So there is an example like vitamins enriched vanaspati, which is dalda. So for B, option 3 is correct. Vitamin enriched vanaspati. Then third is market driven fortification, which refers to manufactured foods which are fortified both for marketing advantage and benefit of the targeted population groups. Food manufacturers, they use the nutritional benefit of the consumer as their marketing advantage. For example, there are the breakfast cereals and the chocolate drink powders, and they are commonly fortified with micronutrients at around 30% of daily requirement. So market driven is fortified breakfast cereals. So option A is correct. Is it clear to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So let's move to the next question. Which among the following is not an iron source currently used in food fortification? So this is like we use iron for fortification process in the food. So we use certain forms of the iron and we do not use certain forms of the iron. So here we should tell which we are not using to fortify food for iron. So what can you guess anyone which can be the option which
Option C or D, ma'am. Either.
oh, option C, either E, C or D. Okay.
B. C or B, ma'am? B.
B or D?
Option C or B?
C or D? Yeah,
Option D, ma'am.
C or D. Okay. Option D. So we have two answers with us. Let's see. So option D is correct. Like it is not being used for fortification. Why? Let's see the reason behind this. Ammonium iron sulfate or the moher salt. So this is option D is moher salt, commonly known as moher salt. So it is an inorganic compound. It is having this formula NH42 FeSO4 2 into 6 water molecules. So which is not used for the fortification purposes because it is not generally recognized as safe for the food safety authorities for ingestion because it is having ammonium ions. So ammonium ions cannot be easily digested by human, so it is not being used. Whereas Fe4P2O7 whole 3 with 9 water molecules, which is known as ferric pyrophosphate, which is first one, this option. Then second, which is ferrous sulfate, which is FeSO4 with 7 water molecules, and third one, which is ferrous lactate, which is FeC3H5O3 with the whole 2 in with 3 water molecules. They are used as source of irons, iron for food fortification process. So these three can be used because they can be digested by human body and they are generally recognized as safe by FSSAI. And this fourth is having NH4 and it cannot be digested by human body. Like we can see these examples are directly being taken from FSSAI handbook. So in like if we talk about iodized salt, so iron content it should be 850 to 1100 parts per million, and only acceptable is ferrous sulfate or ferrous fumarate. Whereas in fortified atta, ferrous citrate, ferrous lactate, ferrous sulfate, and ferrous pyrophosphate, they can be allowed, or its electrolytic ions, also ferric, ferrous fumarate or ferrous bisglycinate, they can be used for fortification, which is in particular levels, which is 28 mg to 42.5 mg per kg. Then sodium iron ethylene diamine tetraacetate trihydrate. This also can be used, but in this level 14 mg. This is 14 mg to 21.25 mg per kg. So this is the permissible limit which is provided by the guidelines by FSCCI guidelines in 44 fortified atta. So all these can be used, like we are using here lactate form, we are also using sulfate form, we are using pyrophosphate form, but we are not using this fourth, right? So fortified raw rice, we can supplement iron using ferric pyrophosphate with this 28 mg to 42.5 mg per kg level of fortification, and we can use sodium iron ethylene diamine tetraacetate trihydrate also in 14 mg to 21.25 mg per kg. Like this, we have the limits for fortified maida and there are so fortified maida, and we have the ingredients which we can be used the same, almost the same, and in the almost in the same range. So there are different products like fortified cereal products. So in this also citrate form are there, lactate, sulfate, pyrophosphate. These forms are there, but not the moher salt. Okay. So we have another examples for this is fortified cereal, so this is repeated, but this is fortified bakery wares. So in this also we have some iron sources, and its limit is permissible limit is given. So from all these we can see we have only these three A, B, C as our accepted form, which is accepted by the regulatory body, but not D. So option D is false. So is it clear to everyone why
Yes,
option
ma'am.
D is correct? Okay. Can I move to this question? Clear to everyone? Please let me know if it's clear to everyone. Previous question.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes,
thank you
ma'am.
so much. Thank you. I'm moving to this question number 3 now. What is the permissible limit for micronutrients in fortified rice kernel mixed at a ratio of 1 to 100 with raw rice as per the FSSAI guidelines? So we are mixing, like we are making fortified rice kernels. We are fortified with iron, and we are mixing with the raw rice, and in the ratio of 1:100. So we need to tell the permissible limit. So iron should be in which limit? Folic acid, iron, and we have vitamin B12, which is cobalt.
Option B, ma'am.
Option
B.
B. This
Yes, ma'am.
limit when we are mixing in this ratio. So anyone else or everyone agreeing to her? Let's see. A on answer is correct. Let's see why. So according to FSSAI, the rice is fortified with iron, folic acid, vitamin B12 with this amount 28 to 42.5 mg per kg of any ferrous salt, which is here ferrous pyrophosphate is given, and then 75 to 125 microgram per kg of folic acid and 0.75 to 1.25 microgram per kg of vitamin B12 or cyanocobalamin. So first, the fortified kernel rice, it is developed and mixed in the ratio of this with the raw rice. 1:100 is generally used to mix with the raw rice, which result in fortified rice with micronutrients which are in the limit of FSSAI guidelines. So fortified raw rice, it is having like this ferric pyrophosphate in this limit. So this is mg per kg, right? So in this it is given 28 to 42.5 mg per kg. It is the limit which is given here in the table also. This is iron and this is folic acid and this is vitamin B12 and these are other micronutrients which are zinc, vitamin A, B1, vitamin B1, B2, B3, B6 which are given. Mg per gram. Here is mg per kg. Okay, but here it's point. So it will be 100. Okay, so is this question clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So these limits they are given in here in this table. So you must follow these limits. Uh, so let's move to the next question, which is match the raw materials used in high energy RTE food pastes given in column 1 and we have the equipments involved in the respective unit operations in column 2. So these are the raw materials used in making high energy ready to eat food paste and these are the machines which are involved in the particular action. So we need to match like dehulled roasted soya bean, split peanuts and roasted maize flour and we have different mixers or the mills like Henschel mixer, Burr mill and gyro sifter. So we need to match which product is being processed by which machine. So option D is correct. Let's see, understand the reason why. So high energy ready to eat food paste, they are basically the energy dense products which are having all the micronutrients. So it is energy dense and micronutrients enhanced pastes which are commonly used in therapeutic feedings. So these are basically the soft foods and homogeneous mixture of the lipids and the protein rich foods and it is having high amount of or good amount of essential micronutrients. So if we see this table which is provided in the slide by professor, so we can see that this dehulled roasted soya bean and maize they are basically feed into burr mill for the grinding action and we have split peanuts which are being grounded and mixed. Grinding and mixing operation is being done in Henschel mixer and then we have roasted soya or maize flour which is being screened using gyro sifter when we are making high energy ready to eat food paste. So option A is connected to second which is burr mill and then split peanuts are connected to Henschel mixture and roasted maize flour is sifted using gyro sifter. So option D is correct. Is it clear to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So let's move to next question. Match the terms related to fortification, which is given in column 1. So we have this in lecture, very first video lecture, which is having these terms like standardization, substitution, enrichment, and restoration. And then in the column 2, their definitions are given. So nutrients addition to substitute products to the levels found in the food. Second is replacement of the losses incurred during processing. Third is addition to compensate for variations in nutrient contents. And fourth is increasing the level of nutrients present to make the food a richer source. So anyone, this is very, very simple question.
Option B.
D.
Option B.
B, ma'am.
Okay, option D.
B.
B, ma'am.
Oh, B. Okay, okay, I'm sorry. Anyone? Anyone else? Is she correct? Is she correct or are you all agreeing to B? So option C is correct. Let's understand why option C is correct. So standardization is basically a method of addition to compensate for natural or seasonal variation in nutrients content. So standardization is for 3. Then substitution is basically is a nutrient addition to substitute product to the level found in the food which resemble the food and which it is intended to replace partially or completely. So it is about substitution. So option, which option is for B? B is for first. So addition, nutrient addition to substitute product to the levels found in the food. Then enrichment is basically defined as increasing the level of nutrients present to make the food a richer source. We are enriching the food. So it has frequently been interchanged with restoration and fortification as a general term. So enrichment, which is option C, is related to fourth, which is increasing the level of nutrients present to make the food a richer source. Then fourth is restoration. So this is a process which involves the replacement in full or in part of the losses incurred during processing. So option D is related to second, which is replacement of the losses incurred during pre-processing. So option C is correct, D is not correct. Is it clear this question now to everyone from these definitions?
Yes, ma'am.
So
Yes,
you
ma'am.
please remember these definitions of this is the basic definitions which are provided in lecture video first. So let's move to the next question now. Which of the following statements is true with respect to the balancing of amino acids? Very simple question. So lysine and methionine are evident amino acid in cereals. Then tryptophan is limiting amino acid in legumes. C is egg contains all essential amino acids in balanced quantity. And then fourth is arginine is lower in cereals compared to their amounts in proteins of animal origin. So we need to tell which is true among all, which statement is true among all.
Option B.
Option B. So in chat we are having many options. Oh, okay, I've seen before. So option C, option D. Okay, many are saying option C, egg contains all. Let's see answer. We got two answers, option B and option C. And option D also someone was saying. Let's see. Option C is correct, as rightly mentioned that egg contains all essential amino acids in balanced quantity. Among the essential amino acids, which are lysine, then we have tryptophan and methionine. They have received more attention because they are mostly the limiting in amino acids, in particularly in the cereals. Like basically lysine and tryptophan is basically limited in cereals, whereas methionine and cysteine, they are basically less in the legume crops. So we can see that lysine and methionine, they are basically in they are abundant amino acid in cereals, so they are not abundant, they are limiting. And then tryptophan is a limiting amino acid in legumes, which is also not correct, because it is not in this tryptophan, it is not in legumes, it is basically in cereals. This is limiting in cereals. Then egg, it basically contains all essential amino acids, which is true. So complete protein contain all the essential amino acids in adequate amount. So egg is a complete protein source. So it has all the essential amino acids which are also in the balanced quantity or adequate amount, which is why egg is taken as a reference for complete protein. So animal foods such as the dairy products, eggs, meat, poultry, and the seafood, they are the complete source of the proteins. So egg protein is an only option which is provided, so it has all the essential amino acid in the proper proportion or sufficient quantity. Then so option 3 is correct, and then option 4 is incorrect. Why? Because threonine is basically lower in cereal, so but here it is given arginine, so it is incorrect. So compared with their amount in proteins of animal origin, so compared to animal sources, plant sources has lesser threonine, but it is given here in option D as that arginine is in lower quantity, so it is also an incorrect option. As we know that protein is basically can be complete protein, which contains all the essential amino acids, and then we have partially complete proteins which do not contain all amino acids, so it cannot contribute to promote height, promote growth, like gliadin in the wheat. And then totally incomplete proteins, so they are deficient in a lot of amino acid, so it is incapable of promoting growth as well as maintaining the body process. So gelatin is one of the example of it. So we have three types of protein, and egg contains in complete protein, like animal protein from milk, egg, and fish and meat. That's why mostly vegetarian people rely on milk products. And then most of the people who go in the gym, they eat egg mostly to complete their protein requirement. So option C is true. Is it clear to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So let's
Yes,
move to
ma'am.
next question. Thank you. Let's move to this question. So we can see a systematic diagram here, schematic diagram here, which is of some milling machine. So we need to tell which milling machine is this. Which milling machine is this? Attrition mill, hammer mill, ball mill, burr mill.
Option D.
Question.
Option D, burr mill. Anyone else? When we get which one?
Option D, ma'am.
Burr mill. Another option we got, right? Someone was saying some other mill. D, B. Hammer mill.
Option B, ma'am.
Hammer mill. Okay. But it is attrition mill. So basically, this diagram is representing attrition mill, which is used for grinding of the food products like cereals and the legumes, grains, like those products it grind. So it is basically having one stand and one motor, and it is a grinding portion from where the grinding, like grinding disc, grinder discs is this. So we can feed from this part, and there are some screw here. This is the screw from which the feed will travel and then go to grinder disc, and this is the outlet. This is a control panel. Like this is a attrition mill for grinding of the grains. So higher speed and feed rate produce more fine particles as compared to lower peripheral speed and feed rates. The particle size of the flour, it basically influences greatly the water and oil absorption and flowability of the flour. So it is very important that what is the size of the flour particles. The flour are basically sifted after that in the gyro sifter to maintain uniform particle size. So this is attrition mill. Please remember. So is it this question clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
ma'am.
So let's move to the next question. We have another match the following question. In column 1, we have rice fortification technologies like extrusion, coating, and then dusting. And in column 2, we have the example like use of electrostatic force between rice surface and micronutrients. Then second is kernel is highly visible in rice blend. Third is rice better retention of nutrients. So we need to match.
Option C, ma'am.
Option C, which is A is 3, B is
Option D,
1
ma'am.
and C is second. Okay, option D, second, A is related to second. Okay,
Option B.
option D, we are having more option D.
Option D.
Option B.
C, C, D. Okay, so about the hall ticket, there is a message also floated on the discussion forum. Please, you also float the question there because it's the question for administration. They will help you to help you with the hall tickets and all. Let's move to our question. So basically, we have fortification technologies like extrusion, coating, and then dusting. In extrusion, there is a better retention of nutrients, while in the coating and dusting, cause nutrient loss during washing and cooking. So, in dusting, basically, the micronutrients they are in the form of the fine particles and they are blended with the bulk of the rice during dusting. So this method make use of the electrostatic force between the rice surface and the micronutrients. And its disadvantages when washing and cooking with the excess water is being done, then it is drained and leading to significant loss. So dusting is related to use of electrostatic forces between rice surface and micronutrients. Then coating is about high concentration of micronutrients. They are added to rice, followed by water resistant edible coatings, several coating layers being formed, usually with the alternated with layers of coating material alone and are added by spraying on rice. Disadvantages are majority of the water soluble micronutrients they are lost while washing. Also, there is a loss of color, taste, micronutrients during washing. Then the coating layer of the kernel, it makes them highly visible on the in the rice blend. So these are the disadvantages. So from this, if we see coating is related to option second, which is kernel is highly visible in rice blend because there are there is high concentration of micronutrients layer is being formed on the rice, which make it coating thick and visible in the rice blend. Then is the extrusion process where cold, warm or hot extrusion it can be applied to produce reconstituted rice kernels which retains nutrition better. So in extrusion, first input of the ingredients we give like rice flour, premix, additives. Then here we are feeding water and steam. Then there is the mixing, dry mixing in this step, then conditioning, then dough formation, shaping, stabilization, drying, and finally we get our rice kernel. So first input of ingredients we did and then mixing and conditioning operation. So this is the mixing operation. and then conditioning operation, and then we have dough formation, and then in the extrusion there is the shaping, and finally is the drying, where the final moisture content of the product is around 6 to 12 moisture content, final product moisture content. So from this, if we see the match the following, extrusion is related to better retention of nutrients. So we have option B as correct. Is this question clear to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So it's clear to everyone. Let's move to the question which is regarding CIP. Which among the following is the proper sequence of steps involved in the CIP process? So there are different processes like elimination of accumulated organic matter, and then second process is elimination of minerals deposited, and neutralization of any residual caustic, then pushing out residual acid and salts, and next last is the washing of residual caustic. So when we are doing CIP process, which is cleaning in place, so which is the correct sequence?
Option C, ma'am.
Option C.
Option A, ma'am.
Option A. So in the chat, let's see, majority is going with C, C, C. So we are getting more C. Let's see answer. We got two options, mainly C, and second one was B. So let's see, C is correct answer. So first there is elimination of accumulated organic matter. Then there is a wash off of residual caustic. Then there is elimination of mineral deposits and neutralization of any residual caustic. And then finally is the pushing out residual acid and salts. So in the video lecture, we have these as our like this from the flow chart is already given in the lecture video discussed. So basically the proper sequence of the steps which are involved in the CIP is basically pre-rinsing and then alkali cleaning. So alkali cleaning is, in this step what happens, there is elimination of accumulated organic matter, and then there is rising of, in the next step, rinsing of the product with the hot water. So in the CIP, uh, first the equipments, they are being first pre-rinse, and then they are being rinsed by using alkali solution, so that all the organics matters which are accumulated while we are making any by like any food product we are making. So equipments, in the equipments, organic matters they accumulate, so we clean it with the help of alkali cleaning, and then rinsing with the hot water. So in this, to wash off residual caustic. So in the second step we used alkali or the caustic soda or something like that, like the which pH is very high. So we wash it with hot water in the next step to remove all the caustic, and then in the fourth step we do acid cleaning. So first is the alkali cleaning, main, and then second is the acid cleaning, and finally is the water cleaning. So three-step cleaning is done usually in all kind of equipments, be it pasteurizing units or any equipments in the food industry. So in acid cleaning, what happens? There is elimination of mineral deposits and neutralization of any residual caustic. If there is any caustic, so it will be neutralized with the acid and there will be elimination of mineral deposits. After that is the rinsing with hot water. So we have the residual acid and salts. So we need to wash off them. So we use hot water washing. And finally is the disinfection. So in disinfection, what we do, because there are microorganisms, so we need to kill or inactivate those microorganisms. So we do disinfection process. Then post rinsing is the final step where there is elimination of CIP chemicals. So this is the whole flow diagram of CIP process. So option C is correct. This is correct flow. Is this question clear to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Yes to all. Thank you. Can we move to next question now? This question. So rice varieties, they basically rice varieties uh, containing blank amylose concentration. So it can be high or it can be low amylose concentration, and gel consistency is it can be high or it can be low, and then and gelatinization temperature it can be high or low. So are appropriate for rice noodle preparation. So this is the preparation when we are preparing rice noodles. So which kind of rice variety we need?
A.
A, high amylose concentration, high
Option A.
gel consistency and low gelatinization temperature. So we get option A.
C.
C means high of the amylose concentration, low of the gel consistency and high is the gelatinization temperature.
Option A, ma'am.
Okay, so we
Option
have
A.
option A as measure. Let's see. Option A is correct. So rice varieties which are having high amylose concentration, that means which because of high amylose concentration, there is more firmness and less stickiness in the texture. So we need for noodle, when we are making noodles, we need a firmer texture and less sticky texture. Otherwise, the noodle strands they will stick to each other. So we that will be kind of a lump formation, right? So next is the high gel consistency we need, because we need to maintain smoothness and then flexibility in the noodle after cooling. So when the noodles will be cooled, so it must be smooth and flexible. For that we need higher gel consistency. And then we need desirable is low gelatinization temperature, which means that rice starch it will be quickly cook. It can be quickly and evenly cook. So if the gelatinization temperature is low, it is easy for the cooking purpose. So these are the characteristics of a rice noodle which we desire. So option A is correct. So is this clear to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay, let's move to the next question. Which of the following statement is false with respect to the fortified rice kernel? So A is the structure of fortified rice kernel is significantly different from natural rice kernels. B is the fortified rice kernel had an amorphous structure. Third is the added nutrients are embedded in the rice kernel matrix. And fourth is the nutrients largely remain unaffected in fortified rice kernel by post-processing treatments. So we need to tell which statement among these are false.
Option B, ma'am.
Which option?
B.
Option B.
B. B is false.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Can anyone please logically explain uh, how option B is, because everyone is on B, so why option B is incorrect and why option A, C, and D are correct? Just an open discussion. Anyone can participate. Please, anyone?
Because, ma'am, three options are looking correct. That's why I say fourth is not.
But why? Little bit like somewhat logic. Structure of fortified rice kernel, it is significantly different from natural rice kernels. Is it so? Let's understand. It's option B is false. Basically, the structure of recomposed rice kernels, they are significantly different from natural rice kernels. So actually it is true because it is significantly different. So fortified rice kernels, they had a compact and hard structure as compared to normal rice. So it is more crystalline structure. So option B is false because it is saying it has an amorphous structure, whereas it has mostly the compact on the hard structure, which means it is more uh, properly, the chains are properly aligned of amylose and amylopectin in basically amylose in the uh, rice. So the crystalline structure is there because all the chains are well structured and well organized and placed on one, like if one layer is like that, so it is another layer will be like that, so it is more organized structure. So next is the in extrusion process, the added nutrients are basically embedded in the kernel matrix and are thus largely unaffected by post processing treatments such as the transportation or the storage or washing or cooking. So in extrusion process, basically the added nutrients are embedded in the kernel matrix, which is option C. Added nutrients are embedded in kernel matrix. So option C is correct, and that's why the nutrients, they are basically unaffected due to the post processing treatments, which is from this statement. So it is also correct. However, the structure of fortified rice kernel is significantly different from the natural rice kernel. So, the structure of the fortified rice kernels which we get, it will be different from natural rice kernels. So it is correct. Option A is correct. Like if we want to see from the image, so change in microstructure of rice after extrusion. So extrusion cooking modifies the starch and protein structure. The fortified rice kernel had a compact and hard structure as compared to normal rice structure. So it is more crystalline. Like if we see the natural rice, its microstructure or the same image is like that. Like this, it is different. It is more amorphous. And if we see the uh, same image of fortified rice kernel, so we can see more smooth and crystalline structure. So option B is false. Is this question clear to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let's move to the next question. So dash is the extra added amount of nutrients so that the anticipated level of the nutrients at the end of the product shelf life is in accordance with the level indicated on the label. Overlife, overage, overrun, overtake.
Option B.
Option B, overage. So any other?
Option B, ma'am.
Option B.
Option B, ma'am.
Okay. Everyone is saying option B.
Option B, ma'am.
Mostly we have B as our option, and some people are also saying C mostly, but I am getting B as the answer. Let's see. Overage, option B is correct. So basically, overage, this term refers to the use of the kinetic data on nutrient stability to calculate the amount of added nutrients so that the anticipated level of the nutrients at the end of the product shelf life is in accordance with the level indicated on the label. So losses can be due to when we are processing or while it is being stored on the shelf. When we are like what happens before, like when we are when the product is being come from the industry, it will be there on the shelf, retailer's shelf for long time. So there also it can lose some of the nutrients. So a small manufacturing overage, basically usually about 2%, is included to ensure the premix meet label claims by assay. So when we do any kind of assay or when we analyze using the experiment in the laboratory, so we can get the same amount which is mentioned in the on the label. So we use around 2% of the overage amount of, so that we finally, if there is some loss due to processing or due to storage, that can be well taken care of. So option B is correct. So is this clear to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
let's move to next question then. Which of the following statements is not correct for high energy RTE food paste prepared for SAM, which is severe acute malnourishment or malnutrition children? So, people who are having severe acute malnutrition, so we used to give them high energy ready to eat food products for their therapeutic correction or as a therapeutic feed. So, which of the option is not correct for high energy RT food for SAM children? So, it is rich in energy, or option B is it has a moisture content in the range of 5 to 10, or it has a higher shelf life. Option D is it can be consumed directly.
Option B.
Option B, it has a moisture content in the range of 5 to 10%. Not correct, right? Anyone else? Let's see in the chat if someone is. So B also I got. B, mostly B, or any other option except B. Is there any other option? D. Preeti is saying about D. So D, it can be consumed directly.
Option B, ma'am.
Option B, mostly everyone is on option B. Let's see. Option B is correct. It is not, basically, it is not correct. Option B is not correct because high energy ready to eat food paste is rich in energy and many nutrients and has lower moisture level around less than 2.5%, and therefore its shelf life is higher. So its shelf life is higher, yes, and it is rich in energy, yes, because it is having high amount of the nutrient and high amount of the energy, and it can be consumed directly, which is also true. Option B is false because we have moisture content less than 2.5%. So it can be basically directly consumed by malnourished children. So it is basically ready to eat. So it can be directly consumed product. Then because it is having oil seeds, like it is basically composed of these ingredients. So it has oil seeds, cereals, oil, milk powder, sugar, and micronutrients premix, which can be in the this much of percentage. Like milk powder can be 30%, then peanut butter 25%, sugar can be 28%, vegetable oils it can contain 15%, and the micronutrient or vitamins and minerals premix can be 2%. So option B is incorrect, others are correct. So is it clear to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes? Okay. So we are moving to the next question. Which of the following is the main function of vegetable oil in ready to eat food paste? So A is saying to decrease the cost of manufacturing of ready to eat food paste, to stabilize the product and act as an antioxidant. Option C is to improve the binding properties of the formulation, and option D is to provide a good balance of essential fatty acids. So
Option D, ma'am.
option D from Priyanka. Others? Anuj is also saying D. Then
Option
Preeti,
D.
D. Option
D, ma'am.
okay, D. To provide a good balance of essential fatty acids. Let's see answer. To provide a good balance of essential fatty acids is correct. So vegetable oils, basically the sunflower oil, soybean oil, they are important ingredients in ready to eat food paste. So among these vegetable oils, rapeseed oil and soybean oil, they are basically preferred sources of vegetable oil because they have the advantage of providing a good balance of essential fatty acids. So in ready to eat food paste, basically we have many ingredients like we have food supplement, energy supplements. So we use some fats, oil and sugars to provide energy, and then we have protein supplements. So we have legumes, pulses, oil seeds, skim milk powder. So they will be helpful for protein providing. And then we have micronutrient premix. So we have premix which contains minerals and vitamins. So this will supply micronutrients to the RTE food paste. And then staple food ingredients like cereals or any other grains, they will be there for the staple food ingredients. So we have four kind of basic ingredients which can be used to make RTE food paste. So out of these, vegetable oil comes in energy supplement, this first one, and it is a good balance of essential fatty acids. So option D is correct. Is this clear to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So let's move to next question, which is match the problems which are given in column A, like aflatoxin contamination, and B is bacterial contamination, and C is rancidity. So these are the problems in the food product, and then the controlling factor in column B, like GHP, GMP in processing plant, then tocopherol, and then third is storage in a cool and dry environment with fumigation. So
Option
which
C.
option? Option C.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So let's see majority people. C is the majority people's answer. Okay. So C is everyone's option. Let's see now. C is the correct answer. So aflatoxin is basically produced by Aspergillus species of the fungus or the mold, which basically contaminates the peanuts after they have been harvested. So this problem is in mainly in the peanut by Aspergillus species, mainly Aspergillus niger, and then there is consumption of aflatoxin. It can basically result in the hepatic oxidative stress in human and predisposes the individual to hepatic cancers also. So it is this aflatoxin contamination is very harmful for human body. It causes problems related to hepatic. So very high doses, it can produce acute intoxication, and there can be moderate doses. It basically may depress even child growth. So we should prevent aflatoxin contamination, and because for that we should store our peanut in a cool, dry environment which is basically treated with fungicides. So option for A 3 is correct, which is store in a cool and dry environment with fumigation. And then bacterial contamination and rodents or insects contamination of the stored ingredients, it should be avoided. So contamination through unhygienic handling of the ingredients should be taken care of, and GHP and GMP, which is good hygienic practices and good manufacturing practices, it must be followed in the processing plants. Also, increased water content, it can allow bacteria or mold to grow and to promote the degradation process. So in bacterial contamination, we should follow GHP and GMP in the processing plants. So option first is correct. And then oxidation of oil, it leads to rancidity, which could be an issue in affecting the quality of paste, which could be prevented by the addition of antioxidants like tocopherols during the paste making. So for rancidity, we have tocopherol. Second is second option. So overall, we have option C as correct. So this question is clear to everyone.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. So let's move to next question. Which among the following statement is true with respect to the design and composition of a food premix? Yeah. So overage, usually about 10%, is included to ensure the premix meets label claims. And B is saying nutrient concentration is adjusted on the basis of the concentration of the nutrients sources used. Option C is tricalcium phosphate or precipitate silica or silicon dioxide. It can be added as carriers or excipient. And option D is saying maltodextrin, calcium carbonate or calcium sulfate can be added to avoid clumping. So we need to tell which is the true option among all these for design and composition of a food premix.
Option B.
Option B is true.
Option B.
Option B. So let's see majority answer. Majority is saying B. Let me check please attendance. B. Yes, so majority is on B side. Yes, mostly everyone is on B side. So let's see. B is true and rest are false. So nutrient concentration is adjusted on the basis of the concentration of the nutrient source used. Which source we are using, we should adjust our nutrient concentration based on that. So option B is correct. Then a small manufacturing overage, it is basically about 2%. Here it is given in option A that it is around 10%. So it is not correct. 2% is included to ensure the premix meet label claims by SA. Then third is tricalcium phosphate or precipitated silica or silicon dioxide is added as a free flowing agent to avoid clumping. So it is basically added as, these are added as free flowing agents, not as a carrier or excipient. So this is wrong. It is not being used as carrier. Then last is the starch, which is the wheat or corn starch or maltodextrin or an inexpensive mineral such as calcium carbonate or calcium sulfate in cereals is basically added as carrier or excipient of the mixture. So this option D, which is maltodextrin or the calcium carbonate or calcium sulfate, they are not being used as clumping, to avoid clumping, or it is not a free flowing agent, but it is a carrier. So option D is also incorrect. Option B is true. So everyone was on, uh, everyone was correct. So so you guys all understand. Let's move to this question, which is arrange the following iron compounds used for food fortification purpose in terms of increasing order of their relative bioavailability. So what is bioavailability? Anyone please can share the view. What is bioavailability? What it this terms refers to? Anyone please share opinion.
Yes, ma'am. Bioavailability refers to the extent to which the body can absorb and utilize a nutrient or substance from food or supplement.
Okay, so uh, everyone is agreeing to him, or do we can add something else to it? First, Nanuj, we are talking first about what is bioavailability. So if you can share something.
That was correct, ma'am.
Correct. So he rightly mentioned. Now let's discuss about this question, which is arrange the following iron compounds used for food fortification purpose, which is in the increasing order of their relative bioavailability. So we have ferrous fumarate, ferrous gluconate, then ferric ammonium citrate, and then ferric pyrophosphate. And as we got one answer as A, so anyone else? Another, do we have another answer? Let me see the chat. Mostly on A.
Option A, ma'am.
Okay. Option A. Let's see. Option A is correct. We have highest bioavailability in ferrous fumarate, and then we have ferrous gluconate, and then ferric ammonium citrate, and lastly is the ferric pyrophosphate. So when selecting a suitable iron compound as a food fortification agent or food fortificant, the overall objective is to find the one that has the greatest absorbability. So the highest, which means highest bioavailability. So the food fortifying agent which is having highest bioavailability, we will prefer that fortifying agent to add in our food product. So which is like we have which the bioavailability is basically compared because we have relative bioavailability. So this bioavailability is basically uh, is as in this we have a reference as ferrous sulfate for uh, iron compound food fortifying agents. So same time does not so compared with ferrous sulfate, yet at the same time does not cause unacceptable changes to the sensory property. So we should have a higher bioavailability, but it should the fortifying agent should not affect any sensory property, like it should not alter taste, color, and texture of the food product, because sensory product at the ultimate is the it is basically the highest level or ultimate level of the um, uh, test which we basically it must pass. It is a very crucial parameter. So every food product should be passed in sensory test of the food vehicle. So our food should not be altered for the sensory property, and if we are adding any uh, fortifying agent, so its bioavailability should be very high. So ferrous fumarate is having around 100 bioavailability, and then ferrous gluconate it is 89, and then ferric ammonium citrate it is having 51, and ferric pyrophosphate it is having 25 to 32 relative bioavailability. So ferrous fumarate it basically has a around 33% of elemental iron in it, and ferrous gluconate it is having around 12% of the elemental iron in it. Ferric ammonium citrate which is Fe3 plus, because it is ferric, so it is less readily absorbed than ferrous. Ferrous is more readily absorbed form, Fe2 plus. And ferric phosphate it is basically poorly soluble, so it limits its absorption, and we should modify if modified ferric for the modified ferric pyrophosphate so that it can be easily used in as a fortifying agent. So option A is correct. So this is clear to everyone. Let's move to next question. Match the role of micronutrients in blood formation. So we have formation of RBC, formation of hemoglobin, and multiplication and maturation of RBC. So this is blood formation, and we have the sources which is iron, folic acid, and vitamin B12. So we need to match which micronutrient is used for which purpose in blood formation specifically.
Option A, ma'am.
Option A, that first, which is formation of RBC, is related to vitamin B12, and second, which is hemoglobin, is related to iron, and three, multiplication and maturation of RBC is related to folic acid. Okay. Let's see majority of the answer.
Option A, ma'am.
Option A, C, also C and A. A, maximum people are saying A, and then C also. We have. Let's see. A is correct answer, not C. Let's understand. Iron, basically it is used for the formation of hemoglobin. So hemoglobin is basically a protein in red blood cells that carries oxygen. So iron is used in the formation of hemoglobin. Then vitamin B12 is basically used for formation and maturation of RBC. So option A, which is iron, is related to formation of hemoglobin. And then we have vitamin B12, which is formation and maturation of RBC. So it also basically plays a role in DNA and RNA synthesis. Sorry, I'm so sorry. So it also supports in DNA synthesis and neurological function. Vitamin B12, it basically supports in DNA synthesis and neurological function. So if its deficiency will be there, so there can be problems related to brain also, your neuron system also. Then we have folic acid. So it is related to formation of RBC, which is multiplication and maturation. This is formation and maturation, and this is vitamin B12 and folic acid for multiplication and maturation of red blood cell in our body. So it also plays a role in DNA and RNA synthesis. So option A is correct. Is this clear to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so let's move to this question. The given equation corresponds to which of the following form of linear programming problems, LPP? So this is kind of some equation given here. So we need to tell which form of LPP it is. So is it canonical form, standard form, or equation R of graphical representation of LPP, or invalid LPP equations? So it is basically in the when we are mixing many ingredients together to form a product, this kind of LPP system or LPP equation can be used. Anyone?
B.
B, standard form of
Option B,
LPP.
ma'am.
So we have option B mainly. Anuj is saying A. So one is A, two are B. Anyone else? Do we have more options?
Actually, all these forms are not explained during the class, ma'am.
No, it's explained in the class. In lecture video, it's there actually. There, I have.
The thing is, the equations are there, but what about canonical, standard equation forms? I don't consider these were explained.
Okay, okay. That is. Yeah. It's not that much clear, but it was there actually. You have like we have to clearly
The
see, then we
same
can understand.
is
Like
there. The equation what is there, like the same is there, but it is not explained about what is canonical form or standard form or equations like that. Invalid forms are not
mhm.
explained there.
Yeah, actually it is explained, but in just one or two sentence. So maybe it was not of that much notice. So let's see answer. So A option is correct. Canonical form of LPP is this. So in canonical form of LPP, there is one objective or decision function which is of maximization type. So this maximization, this function is decision function, or this is objective function, and all the constraints are of less than or equal to type. So we have all these constraints are subject, this one subject to the constraints. In this we have less than or equal to types, and except for non-negative restrictions. So these are non-negative restrictions. These are greater than equals to 0. Then, and all the variables, they are non-negative. So in this, all the variables will be non-negative. Whereas in standard form of LPP, all the constraints are expressed in the form of equations except for the non-negative restriction, and the right hand side of each constraint equation is non-negative. In LPP, with two decision variables, we can plot, we can solve them by graphical method, and in the three-dimension problems, we need to solve them by graphical solution, and it becomes complicated. So this is the canonical form of LPP. So this is basically used, this kind of equations can basically be used for when we are mixing many food ingredients and formulating one kind of recipe. So we can use that time these kind of equations. So can we move to next question?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So let's move to this question. Which of the following blending ratio for micronutrient like iron, folic acid, and vitamin B12? It is vitamin B12 in this ratio. Like we have micronutrients, so we need to tell the fortified ratio, micronutrient
Option
fortified
A.
ratio, which can be
Option A.
used. Yes, let me finish. So is mostly used under rice fortification program. So 1 ratio 100, 1 ratio 150, 1 ratio 200, and 1 ratio 250. So option A we get as majorly. Let's see. Yes,
Option
option A is correct. So in rice fortification, basically fortified rice kernels is generally mixed with rice in 1 ratio 10 for achieving FSSAI guidelines. So these are the different micronutrients like iron, folic acid, vitamin B12, and which are being added in this concentration. Like in the fortified rice kernel, we add in iron 280 to 425 mg per 100 grams, and then we use folic acid 750 to 1250 microgram per 100 grams, and then we have 7.5 to 12.5 microgram per 100 gram vitamin B12. And in this image we can see that the initial one is the uncooked. These all these images, this one and this one, these are uncooked form, and B1 is the cooked form. So we can have even small rice, medium rice, or the long rice also, like this. So we have the process technology for production of iron fortified rice kernels. So we have broken rice. We can have broken rice, and then rice flour, fortifying agents, and different additives. It can go under in the extrusion, and it depends on the dye basically, and we can get basic FRK1, 2, like this. We can get like different uh, they're having FRK1 and 2 are having different ratio of the uh, iron and folic acid, like that, and vitamin B12. And based on the dye design, we can control the size and the shape also. So we can either get small, we can get medium, or long range kernels. So it is this side is the raw rice image. So raw rice, and then here is cooked raw rice. So it is the natural rice in first place. And then we have FRK1, which is fortified rice kernel 1, which is having only iron. So it looks like this if you see. And if you have fortified rice kernel 2, which is having iron, folic acid, vitamin B12, we can see it looks like this. So after cooking, if we see, it is looking somewhat different, but like it is there will be smaller or slight change from the raw rice or the natural rice when we do fortification and when we extrude using fortifying machines or the extrusion machine. So in this, option A is correct, which is 1:100. So today's we have covered all the concept based questions regarding our week 11 topic. So today we have covered food fortification, principle and methods of food fortification, and then we discussed about fortification vehicles or some common fortificants, and then we discussed about iron, and then factors affecting nutrition stability in fortified rice, and then mostly we discussed about iron fortified rice, which is having different iron fortifying agents, and then extrusion technology of fortified rice kernel and with machinery and system. And third topic was Nutri dal and fortified noodles, in which we discussed about formulation of amino acid balanced dal, and we discussed about its comparison with egg, and then preparation of Nutri dal and fortified noodles, and last is the high energy RTE food paste, in which we discuss about malnutrition, which is severe acute malnutrition. And then we discussed about high energy RTE food paste ingredients and how it has been manufactured. And then we discussed about CIP system also. the last week, which is week 12, in that we will going to discuss about functional foods and nutraceuticals, and then algae-based health drinks, then gluten-free breads and pasta, then food powder and premixes, and GHP and GMP in food industry. So I will be uploading the recorded video on my YouTube channel and week presentation on the Drive link. So please join next week, which will be our last session. And thank you so much for joining. You can leave the meeting if you don't have any question.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Today's
Thank you.
session, yeah,
Thank
thank
you, ma'am.
you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much for joining.
Ma'am,
Yes.
ma'am, histidine and arginine are the essential amino acids which are used for children's, but not for adults, right? So in Nutridal, which one is used? Like which is the essential one, histidine or arginine?
In Nutri-Dal
Yes,
is
ma'am.
basically made for if we basically made for children to treat with the like mainly with the diseases.
So
So it depends
which
on.
one is used? Histidine or arginine? Which one is used?
So we should see the composition first of Nutri-Dal. So we have in the lecture. Let me see. Not this one. So yes, Nutri-Dal composition, right? So we have particular composition for that. Formulation of Nutri-Dal. So Nutri-Dal in this we have histidine for histidine also, and in this no arginine, only histidine. From this table we can see.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
So yes, so as discussed in here that histidine deficiency is important in uh, basically children. So we use histidine in here. Okay. So this is quite a most of like concept based question in this particular week, not much numericals. So maybe it will be easy for you guys to um, solve, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am,
So
assignment one numerical question I am not able to solve actually.
okay.
Question,
Assignment one.
huh? Assignment one,
Assignment one.
first
Okay. Let me see.
solution part of the little bit more.
Solution. Assignment one solution. Which question?
17th number, ma'am.
Hello. हाँ obligatory से ठीक है व्हाट्सएप पे शेयर कर दीजिए, ठीक है?
This question.
मैं
Okay.
साथ में ड्राइव
Like after the equations you explained there, no? After that, what we need to do?
After the equation, what we need to do? How to solve these equations?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I think we have discussed such kind of question in the week one when we were discussing week one.
Yes,
Did we discuss, right? So let me check if I have presentation of week one. I can open that. It will be easy for us to understand. Mm, such question, right?
yes, ma'am.
So if we have this kind of equation ln k, like same question, right? Almost same.
Yes,
Is
ma'am.
this,
The
yeah?
same.
So can you see the solution and can you let me know if you have any doubt here? I am just showing you my
Yes,
slide. Or because I think it's very in detailed. It has been solved.
yes, ma'am. It looks, I can understand.
Yes. Can you please? I request you to see week one slides once, and then if you don't understand, you can drop a message on discussion forum. I'll see.
Yes, ma'am. Sure.
Okay, because I think it is where all the steps has been very much cleared here, and it is the exact same question, right?
Yeah, ma'am.
Yeah.
Mostly.
Okay, please see this.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Anyone else? मैम एक्सट्रूजन प्रोसेस समझा दीजिए एक्सट्रूजन प्रोसेस क्या होता है एक्सट्रूजन प्रोसेस वी डिस्कस्ड इन आवर प्रीवियस लेक्चर वीडियोस so if you want you can see from there or I can take in next class with the diagram because I need diagram for extrusion process. Basically what happens in extrusion, from one side there is like I need actually diagram for explaining it. I can have one diagram. Mm, wait. Like we have this diagram for extrusion. So what happens? One side we have feed hopper. So from this side feed comes, and this is a screw kind of system, like where there will be cylindrical long. Um, this is a cylindrical shape, long tube kind of thing on which there are screws will be there, helical screws will be there, and uh, this is basically in kind of like we can see it is in some angle, or it is like initially its diameter is less and here its diameter is more. So usually what happens, because here it will, because this barrel, outside barrel will have a particular diameter, constant diameter. So initially if the diameter is lesser, that means that we have more space, more free space, because we are initially we are getting more feed, so we need more space here, and then the feed will be move forwarded in this direction, and there will be one die kind of attachment at the end, like this. Here is a die from where the product goes out. So because the screw is there, so there is a two function in the feed section. So this is the feed section, if you can see, and this next is a compression section. So what happens in the compression section, mm, the product will be moved forwarded, and because uh, it is like the system, this screw system is in the barrel, so there will be compression action on the all the feed. There will be two kind of actions, like one is the particle to particle shear. So the two particles inside this, they will have shear action, and another with the wall of the barrel, and third kind of force which will be generated because of the food product particles, and with the screw, this screw wall, and with the screw system. So such kind, because of all these, there will be so much of compression. And in the metering zone, first is a feeding section, and in the compression, what happens, because of all these forces, there will be good mixing happens. So it compression and mixing will be there, and in metering zone is like more kind of like high how to say, like high pressure will be generated, and because of the higher pressure, uh, it will go, the product will go out of the product, like out of the die, and there will be low pressure, which is atmospheric pressure. So because of the moving from the higher pressure to the lower pressure, so what happens is, there will be the expansion of the product. So that is the extrusion, like the basic principle of the extrusion. Is it okay, Alok? Okay. So do we have more questions, or can we just close today's session? Yes, okay. So if you don't have any doubt, please you can leave the meeting. Thank you so much for joining. See you in the next week.